very good at the skilled positions, obviously. Offensive line does a good job blocking, so it'll be a great challenge for us. As far as the quarterback, I think he's playing at a really high level. I thought, we had a chance last year to go against him in training camp, and he did some good things, but just his accuracy and poise, it just appears on film that he's playing at another level. And then that coupled with the running game that they have, presents a great challenge for us.
Hey Gus, they're in 11 personnel a lot, I think tops in the league through the first 2 weeks, tops in the league last year. What do you have to do to be successful against that personnel grouping to defend the pass and the run?
Right. Well, they're good in both. I mean, this team can line up and say we want to run the ball against you and have 150 yards rushing in the blink of an eye. And they can also spread you out and have 400 yards passing. So that's the challenge. You know what? They're just a very, very well-coached team. It's like, I think when we look at the three receivers, I don't think they'd leave the game. They might throw a deep ball and come back, and they're still in the game, and they just keep playing. And, it's really a credit to them, their mindset and how they approach it. But, you'd think, okay, well, you got one personnel grouping to deal with. But I think we know also that they've got another pretty talented tight end that they're looking at getting in the game. So we're anticipating that we could see, a few other personnel groupings as well.
What separates Todd Gurley from other running backs around the league?
Well, I remember we were just talking about this with the staff. When I was in Tampa Bay in 2006, my first year, I was in the linebacker meeting room. And I went in, I think our first game, we played Steven Jackson. I went, boy, this running back now is pretty good. He's a really good player. And then the next week I said, no, this running back's really good. And Derek Brooks goes, Gus, you're going to be saying that every week, And I feel like that's with a guy like Gurley. You look at him, we just faced a Hunt who's, very talented, McCoy, and now you got another one. But I think what makes him special is he can play very physical, and he also has the ability to jump cut. So, with that, it's not just one cut, and if in a zone scheme, that just makes him really effective with it. So he's got a really good feel from it. They play with the quarterback under center quite a bit, so he's in the dot, and allows him to use his vision. And, he can make explosive plays at any time, not only in the run game, but in the pass game. You look at his screens, explosive plays off a screen game. I think it was Tennessee where he took a screen, I don't know how many yards for a touchdown. So he's just a challenge in all aspects.
Going against a team like this, does it require more time? Do you have to put in more time, or is there only so much you can do in terms of?
Well, it seems like every week, you find things that you look at. There's always plays to watch and how they're trying to attack you, but they're very efficient. We don't do a lot of things on defense. I'm sure our players think there's a lot to it, but I think as a whole, as you looked at it, but we try to do it very well. And I think when you look at their offense, they do quite a few things, but they do it all really, really well. They execute. And we believe it's a precision league. You got to be precise, and you got to be able to line up. And what they do is they try to come out, and they'll vary the tempo. At times it'll go hurry up. At times they'll slow it down. They'll speed up. They'll slow down. They'll get into different personnel groupings. They'll do shifts and motions, all to create emotion on the defensive side. And that's the challenging part, is to be able to maintain a level of toughness, a mentality to play each play. And they hunt for explosive plays, whether it's in the run or the pass.
Having played Kansas City with a lot of that jet sweep action that the Rams will give you, well, like you said, some of that pre-snap eye candy.
Sure.
How much, the fact that you've gone through that can help your players kind of stick to their principles?
Well, we didn't play it real well against Kansas City, so we got to play it better. I think you go back and you look at what you didn't do well during the season and the previous games, and you have to get that corrected because it is a copycat league. And if teams see that you have a weakness, if you don't get it corrected, you're going to see it again. And I don't know how many jet sweeps type plays they ran last year, but I know in the first 2 games you're seeing a lot more, per play number total than they did last year. So it's a part of it. And what's unique about them is everyone on their team can run the jet sweep. Gurley's run jet sweeps. The receivers have all run jet sweeps. So, they'll jet both guys, to try to create confusion. So I think it's an effective addition to their offense.
Talk a little bit more about the jet sweep. It seems like there's a lot of teams around the league doing that more this year. What makes that as a defense so hard to defend?
Well, it depends if you're, playing man and zone. Sometimes it softens up because when you're a defense that plays zone coverage, you have to switch gaps on the run. And it allows you have to play at more linebacker depth. And with a lot of these zone teams, they're trying to get vertical seams. So the distance between their blocking the D lineman and the attack of the linebackers, there's some space there for a guy like Gurley to make his jump cuts and operate in some space. So when they do those things in zone coverage, the linebackers have to stay more at linebacker depth. In man, they can hit it more downhill, but you got a challenge of corners running all the way across the field, and they'll jet motion back. And so, it's an endurance thing as well at times.
Gus, when you guys drafted Derwin James, was there kind of a mad scientist moment for you where you were thinking, oh, I can put him here, and
Well, I think that you try to learn his skill set. We try to do that with all of our players. We try to see what they do well and then put them in those positions. And, so that's just, give credit to Milo and Chris and those guys in the secondary. And then just going through, I think we talked about it in training camp, that he's playing multiple positions just so we can kind of get a feel for what his skill set is and how to best utilize it. But, we've done that with a lot of guys, try to figure out guys where they can best help our team.
is it tough sometimes I know with a rookie you probably default on being a little bit more conservative, you don't want to overwhelm them. With him, did it just become clear that all of those roles together didn't overwhelm?
Right. He's pretty sharp. I think that question was asked during training camp. He seemed to pick it up very well in the classroom. It was just a matter of getting reps on the field. So he's still learning. He still has a learning curve to him, obviously, and probably will for many years. But what we're seeing is he does play fast. Whatever's on his plate, whatever you ask him to do, and, he's going to go 100 miles an hour. And even if it's a mistake, it might go 100 miles an hour. So, I think he's getting a better feel for it. Obviously, we're still a little bit protective of what we're doing with him and some of the situations we're putting in, but we're starting to add to his plate.
Let's go back to last year. This team's last 10 wins, you forced at least 2 turnovers in 9 of those games. How do you force turnovers against such a well-balanced offense like the Rams?
Well, it's difficult. They do a good job with the ball. In some of their passing game, they do a lot of max protection, so it allows the quarterback some time to sit back there and aids in his ability to throw shots down the field. So, I think they just do a good job with it. He makes very good decisions. I talked about his poise when you watch him on tape, the poise he has. And, but he's not, with that, he is a risk taker in some terms. If a guy's covered and he's got a chance to put it in there, he'll put it in there, and you see it multiple times on tape. So I think he really trusts his accuracy. So he's very accurate, he's very poised, and they protect very well. So it's a challenge. It's a challenge. And, they've got some real good skilled guys on the outside. So we're going to have to pick our choose because you have to try to affect them. Well, I think we're very grateful for Ike. And, the ability for him to play our big end spot where Joey played. And, we'll rotate him around, but his size and his length, he's done a really good job with his body type from when he first came in to where he is now. And I think that has helped him. And I think him being around Joey and those guys having a great relationship, I think has helped in his growth as well as, Coach Giff is an amazing D-line coach. So you see multiple guys on our defensive line really get better each day, and I think he's one that fits that mode.
When you have a running back that's so capable as a receiver out of the backfield like Gurley, how much does it help to have, the athletic linebacker safety types like Derwin, like Kazir?
Right. Well, that's, it's such the game at times can be spread out, and it really means that you got to have, a lot of space on the field, so you got to have speed. And I think that's, with our linebacking group, that's what we're evolving to, where a guy like Kaiser and JB and Denzel, those guys can run pretty good. So you have to be able to operate in space and close that cushion because it is such a spread out game. Okay, thank you.
Just 60 yards or something like that. But since then, I just think he's been more precise as a route runner and things like that. Coming from the Patriots, you had Tom, and now you got Goff and McVay. Those guys are finding ways to give him the ball, and I think they're finding more ways to give him the ball in this offense. Oh yeah, they do a lot of different things. Kind of, it's very similar to Kansas City, reduction and things like that. So you can't press and different things like that. And they make the corners come up and tackle off the edge because their wide receivers do a good job of blocking down. So we got to be ready to come up and tackle, and then boots and just they do a lot of stuff on offense, and we got to come prepared. Today is a big day for us to go out there and learn some more of their offense.
Does it help that you went against KC a couple weeks ago to kind of, because it's similar type scheme?
They're not similar schemes. They just do a lot. So Kansas City do a lot of motion and different things, line up their guys different positions, and they do the same thing with the Rams, but they do it from a reduced standpoint and make the guys come up and tackle. Same way Kansas City do make you come up and tackle the running back type things. But their schemes are definitely different.
Casey, Derwin has rushed passer, he's played in the slot, he's played back deep. What's impressed you most just watching him through 2 weeks?
If you go back and watch him from Florida State, that's all the things he did: blitz, cover, sacks, interception, things like that. And that's what we drafted him for, to come in here and do those things. And he's been playing at a high level for us these past 2 games. And for a rookie to come in and be able to start day one, that's saying a lot, because we didn't just give him the spot; he earned it. So for a guy to be able to come in and be able to do that right away, that's definitely a blessing for us.
What are your thoughts on Jared Goff, and what do you need to do to be successful against a quarterback like that?
Man, hopefully we can get some pressure on him. He's been playing lights out. He's very accurate. We practiced against him like a year or so ago. Way different quarterback than now. And he's lights out. He's been playing lights out. And people just say scheme-wise, he making throws like all over the field. So hopefully we can get some pressure on him and try to limit their wide receivers.
What have been the biggest differences you see on tape from last year to this year?
I would say just pure accuracy. He's been accurate, like going all the way back from last year too. If you watch all the games from last year, accurate, and they just put their guys in situations to win, and that's what they're doing with him.
I know a lot of guys in the locker room are saying that it's not a rivalry yet, it's just another team, but is there any added significance considering this is the other LA team?
I guess so, since it's the week that we plan on. But other than that, nah. Nah, we just worry about the one that's up now, and it just so happened to be the Rams. So we try to come here and win each and every week, no matter who it's against. It can be the East Coast team to the Rams as well. So we just try to come in here and win each and every game, and it just so happened to be those guys this week.
What do you remember about the practices for them last year? And it got a little heated there. Could this game get a little heated, a little emotional, you think?
Maybe heated because we all hitting each other. So we all hitting each other, and it's another team. So it probably get a little heated in the midst of things like that. But we are professionals, so it shouldn't get overboard. But we definitely trying to take each other's head off. They trying to take our head off, and vice versa.
Casey, you really have that new, we know the Rams are tempo type offense, and what have you seen, I guess maybe over time, last few games, first 2 games this year, on how teams try to mix up tempo or try and get their offenses going, and then how you guys have to respond?
Just like you said, they definitely up-tempo. And it's not just they up-tempo the first 15 plays. They can do it in the middle of the second quarter, and it'd be like, tempo, 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 slow down. Tempo, 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 slow down. So we just got to be ready at all times that they can just come up. They don't even change. They normally be in 11 personnel, so that don't even change a lot. So we won't be able to change a lot, or we'll get caught in the tempo. So we got to be ready for their tempo, just like you said.
How much of a challenge is like the change of pace versus like the X's and O's? You know what I mean?
I think it's a challenge when they tempo and you don't get to see the whole picture. So when you tempo and they go 3x1s, 2x2s, and they tempo, you don't get to read it. You don't know what they're in. So now you're just working on your technique and your preparation of just trying to survive the down, and that's what we got to do.
If they slow it down, is that a different sort of challenge, or is that like an opportunity for you to read it?
If they slow it down, it definitely helps, being able to line up fast and be able to play. but their offense is just difficult in general, all the different things they do with the motions and things like that. But I feel like if we can get them to slow it down, I think it'll definitely help us out.